Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a bunch of news to go over with you today. But first, we're going to start out with this Deagel revelation that we've heard about in the past. But is it really true that the United States is set to lose more than half of its population just in the next few years? Now, I have a lot of news to go over with you today. I'll probably have to make a second video. But ladies and gentlemen, if at any time there is something that I'm speaking about that you want to skip, take a look at the chapters function, all right? And you can skip to whatever chapter you want, and I'll try to remember to title the chapters accordingly as to what it is that I'm talking about, nice and clear, so that you know. So now let's get started. Apocalyptic catastrophe awaits. We all know about the Deagel report. What the Deagel report does, ladies and gentlemen, it forecasts like the GDP, the gross domestic product of a country, their population, all of these things that are factored in their report. It's a forecast that's usually made like 5 years in advance. And back in 2020, the Deagel report forecasted that the population in the United States is going to take a great decline. Now, let me tell you something before I go over just a couple of excerpts from this article, and I will leave the link to everything I talk about here on a pinned comment so that you can go revisit it, especially this article because it is very, very long, all right, but it has a lot of good information. Leaked Pfizer data solidifies Deagel's 2025 depopulation prediction. And you can still find that in one of the back doors of the internet. You know how the internet has a back door where you can like take a look at things that have been deleted from the internet? That's where they found this report. And I remember talking about this report a long, long time ago, probably towards the infancy of this channel. A controversial forecast by Deagel, a global intelligence consulting firm, recently gained attention for its startling prediction of a significant depopulation event by 2025. While initially dismissed as speculative estimation, current events and emerging trends have led many to question whether there may be more to Deagel's forecast than meets the eye. And ladies and gentlemen, I think I reported on the insurance companies in the US saying that there was a 4 sigma event, meaning an event that is so large that they could not understand why, as far as how many policies they were paying out on as far as deaths. And this was like 1 or 2 years ago. So just insurance companies alone are saying, man, we're paying out more policies for life insurance than we ever have ever. That alone, ladies and gentlemen, should give us a hint as to what's going on. And who knows if this Deagel report will actually manifest itself into reality. Let's hope not. Recent reports from the governments of the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the UK, and various European countries have brought forth troubling revelations, among which is the confirmation of a staggering number of excess people going to the afterlife, reaching over 2 million since the mass rollout of the juicy juice. Let's call it the juicy juice, okay? You know what I mean by the juicy juice. A troubling 120,000 excess departures from this earth have also been recorded among, listen to this, United States of America infants, children, and young adults as of week 40 of 2022. And that is terrible. Think about that. 120,000 excess departures from this earth. That's 120,000 families, ladies and gentlemen. And a curious rise in the excess departures among children across Europe has been recorded ever since the European Medicine Agency extended the emergency use authorization of the juicy juice from Pfizer. Incredible. In the middle of 2021. With further government figures confirming mortality rates are highest among those people that took the juicy juice in every single age group per 100,000 population, serious questions are now being raised about the accuracy and potential truth behind Deagel's apocalyptic depopulation prediction. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is all speculation. From what I understand, this Deagel report that was put out in the past, I believe it's a report that's actually put out by a governmental organization, which is one of the three-letter agencies. And they are very accurate in the reporting that they've done in the past. And as we are seeing it play out, I believe, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I believe, 100% speculation. But I believe that within the next year and a half or two, that the people that are departing this earth earlier than they should have, that are leaving their physical bodies, is going to rise to a level that it can no longer be hidden. That it will be talked about in mainstream media all over the country, all over the world, because you're just not going to be able to hide it. And guess what? People are going to get very angry of what has been done to them. People are going to get very angry, and that is why you have to prepare. Now, going forward, I am going to cover very briefly a whole bunch, probably 5 or 6 more articles that we have to cover that I've uncovered, all right, and I think are pretty important to talk about. However, I'm not going to cover them as in depth as I did this one. All right, so I'm going to leave the links again so that you can go ahead and revisit them if you want. The rulers announce a plan for global CBDC and digital ID scheme. Now, we do have some patriots, ladies and gentlemen, that are still within our government here in the United States of America that are fighting this CBDC. They know what's coming down the line, and they know exactly what the government will do with that new power once it obtains it. And let me tell you what, I can guarantee you this, that once they gain that power, they will never give it up unless there's some sort of a revolution. So get prepared now. This is still a preparedness channel. Get prepared now, ladies and gentlemen, while you still can. Because the best way to use your no muscle is to be prepared with those things that you need. This is a very nice, short, and sweet article, so let's go ahead and talk about it for a minute. The group of 20 rulers have agreed to a plan that will eventually impose CBDCs and digital IDs, ladies and gentlemen, on their respective populations. For those of you that are not familiar with what a CBDC is a centrally banked digital currency, meaning that instead of having cash, all right, or credit cards, that you're going to have your account on your phone. It's going to be digital. It's going to be controlled 100% as to what you can't buy, when you cannot buy it. It will be a way to control you 100%, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, the masters are going to use them to monitor their people's spending and crush dissent. They've already proven in Canada that when the people speak what the government doesn't like, that they will cut their accounts and shut them off from the economy. So don't anyone think that they're not capable of doing it. Not just in Canada, but any government. Any government around the world, ladies and gentlemen, thrives on one thing, and that is power. And that's literally why they need to get the slaves on board. It's something that they're going to do with your permission. It will be the American people en masse that say, yes, give me a CBDC, because they have no idea what it is and or what it will do. And most importantly, because they will be in despair. Whatever the next crisis is will be used to try to push forward a CBDC. And listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me that things aren't planned ahead of time. Here, the European Commission President, whatever her name may be, she called for the United Nations to have a role in AI regulation. They want to control it all. And called for the European Union's health crisis digital certificates, a perfect model for digital public infrastructures, which would include digital IDs. So they pretty much already have the model, and they pretty much knows that it worked. At least it worked in the EU with those digital IDs, right? Now all they have to do is create some kind of crisis to implement it, either worldwide or through the nations that they want to implement it in. So get prepared, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this all comes down to the no muscle. It all comes down to how well prepared are you and how willing are you able to use your no muscle, because you know that if they cut you off from this or this, that you'll be okay for a given number of months, hopefully a year. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me take a few minutes to plug Wellbots. No, this video is not being sponsored by Wellbots, ladies and gentlemen, but Wellbots has been a supporter of the Alaska Prepper community for many years. I think that Wellbots was the very first company to send me a small solar generator to review on this channel. And ever since we started this channel, I think 7 years ago now roughly, they've been there doing giveaways, helping out our community, and sending me stuff to review. They haven't sent me anything to review in this case, but I got a hold of Elliot over at Wellbots and I say, hey, do you have any sales going on for National Preparedness Month? Obviously, the month of September. And I said, I don't want you to send me anything and I don't want any kind of compensation whatsoever. I just want to go ahead and shout out Wellbots. And if you have any sales, I want to go ahead and shout it out. That way people know that it's going on and they can go visit your site and patronage you if they like. So Wellbots, I want to say thank you very much for all of the support that you've provided to this community over the years. And here's a couple of sales that they have, ladies and gentlemen. Actually 3, not a couple. But if you are in the market for EcoFlow products, Wellbots sells EcoFlow products. And you can see here that the EcoFlow Delta Pro is on sale for $2,500. This, I believe, is a unit that holds 3,600 watt hours in total. All right, so come on over here, take a look at this if you're in the market for this. This, I think, is a pretty decent deal. EcoFlow Delta 2 with a 110 watt solar panel for $999 after a $600 discount. And the last sale that they wanted me to tell you about is a savings of $500 on the EcoFlow Delta 2 with an additional battery for $1,299. So here, not only do you get the unit, but you also get an additional battery on top of that. So again, Wellbots, thank you very much for your support over all of the years. And ladies and gentlemen, again, if you want to patronage a company that has been standing behind the Alaska Prepper community for all these years, Wellbots is a really good place to do business with. NATO chief says that we better prepare for a long war, ladies and gentlemen. So if you live in the West, you better prepare for your standard of living to be greatly reduced. Why? Because you better work and pay those taxes so that our elected official can take us to war. The NATO Secretary General declared on Sunday that in spite of wanting a quick peace, the West should prepare for a long war. The West has conceded that Ukraine's offensive against Russia is not likely to succeed. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, that just means what? More propaganda in order to keep the people asleep. You see, keep you in fear, keep you asleep, keep you working so hard through inflation that you have to work 2-3 jobs just in order to keep your head above water and feed your kids, that you don't have time to worry about this war stuff. You're just going to say, just go do whatever you want to do, government. Go do whatever you want to do. Send all these kids that you're going to send eventually to go die for their country. But leave me alone because I'm barely surviving. The rulers are going to tell us this will quicken the pace of the war, but we know that it won't. It'll only prolong it and make the outcome for those in those 2 countries much worse. And we will pay for it as well. Mr. Stoltenberg says it'll be a long and drawn-out war. Most wars last longer than expected when they first begin. Therefore, we must prepare ourselves for the long war. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he says we must prepare ourselves for the long war. What he really means is you must prepare for the long war, because it is you that will pay for it, and it is you that will suffer because of it. Even though the big U is suffering high attrition rates, meaning that a lot of people are leaving this earth in an untimely manner, Stoltenberg is pushing for a military solution and not a diplomatic one. It's easy for it not to be diplomatic, ladies and gentlemen, when it's not your children that's going on war. We are going to end this video on a happy note. Study says that compound in coffee and tea can prevent liver cancer cells from spreading. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank goodness I don't have liver, but if I did, I'd be good to go. Because if you haven't tried Nutrient Survival Coffee, it is the best that there is and it will make you feel great. So yes, shameless plug. If you haven't tried Nutrient Survival's coffee, you need to go over there and try some, because it literally is the very best that there is when it comes to spray dried coffee. By the way, let me finish it off by telling you this. I'm going to go ahead and do a video here, I don't know, probably within the next week or two, comparing all of the freeze-dried or powder-dried, spray-dried coffees that I have, because I've found that they last a very long time in very harsh conditions, and I'll go over that in that video with you all. That way you all can be confident in how much coffee to store and know that it's going to last you. But that's for a video to come in the future. Let me go ahead and sign off with this one because I've probably made this one way too long. I will finish it off with telling you that Oupes, for Oupes solar generators, as well as Wellbots, are both having sales. So if you are in the market for an Oupes as well, go check them out. The link is in the description of my videos for Oupes all the time, but I will leave the link to the Wellbots sales on a pinned comment along with the links for all of the articles that we have gone over. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, have a great day. God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.